Hello, guys. I'm gonna turn this computer off real quick because it's kind of making that
Amazing.
noise. I don't want it to be annoying.
I'm gonna turn off the protector.
Yeah, but it's raining here. Raining cats and dogs here, guys.
Yeah.
So we are indoors, and Christy and I uh came across a video early this morning of a 92-year-old man that works at Chick-fil-A full time.
Mm-hmm.
Full time, has a job, and it oh my goodness. So another thing, I guess I feel like I might be bouncing around, but the other day, if anybody is familiar with the Nextdoor app, it was a woman on there saying that she needed help, she needed food, her and her kids needed food, things like that. People were writing comments to her, like they were like, DM us your address, we will send you food. It was so many people that was, going out to help
Mm-hmm.
her. They also shared a lot of organizations with that if you are in need.
Yeah.
And she did not respond to any of them. And anyways, long story short, today on the Nextdoor app, someone made a post and had a screenshot of the woman's picture and had receipts on her, just saying, "Look, this woman is a scammer. She does this a lot. I guess on other platforms, because some people were mentioning. I know YouTube is funny, but I was going to say FB. Some people were mentioning on FB she does the same thing,
Mm-mm.
and I don't know if she was going to people's like DMs through Nextdoor or whatever, but they're saying that they cash apped her money and she'll, act again, like change up her story and all this other stuff. So that's another thing too. People say she's, a scammer, and some people said they recognized her, and it's like, yeah, she does this all the time. So, needless to say, if a 92-year-old man is out here working full time for the people that are able-bodied that refuse to go to work and get a job, you just lazy.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like wanting to have dreams to, maybe because for a lot of people, I know the biggest thing is that people want to be content creators. Um, but there's nothing wrong with having that dream. But the reality is that you have bills to pay, and if you have a family, you have mouths to feed. You have a spouse, a significant other, rent or mortgage, whatever, and those videos and things like that, they may not be making enough for you to pay the bills. You need to pound the pavement and going out there and get a job and stop playing games on the internet.
That's what I'm
It's a waste of
saying. You're
resources, respectfully.
being lazy, because if you really are in need, like you're saying, you would do that if you're able-bodied. Now I know there's some people that cannot work,
Hmm.
but I'm talking about people that are able-bodied, like everything is functioning and things like that. Like you can get out and find a job.
Yeah.
Um, because I'm just saying, like laying around, moping around, and begging people, that's just not the way.
No, it's not. And people have disillusioned themselves and saying that they're a content creator. However, and saying that the content creation is their job, but they're on the internet in the same token begging for money,
That
days
makes
on
no
end,
sense.
hours on end. And I'm just like, sweetheart, you could have clocked into a job and made all the money that you needed to make.
Yeah.
Now, if this 92-year-old man can get out here and grind working a full time gig, anybody else out here, if they have, obligations, needs, and wants, monetarily, financially, they can do the same thing. And it's sad that it's like the people that, probably should be benefiting from like assistance or, maybe should be the ones like retiring, things like that. I know from the article he said he was bored, so he wanted to get out there, but it's just like there's people out here that's playing in our faces on these
Yes.
social media apps, and they have like a new story like every single day, as far as some kind of financial woe that's going on in their life. And I'm like this, respectfully, that's the story of everybody's life. If that's the case, then shoot, we need to be on the internet begging too.
Well, the
I got bills I gotta pay, but I'm not here
well the
expecting
thing
everybody else to pay them.
is, well the thing is, when we were on, I guess I could say IG, there was multiple people, but I remember one person, they were saying, they wanted a job, but then they were saying they had a hard time getting one, or to get the motivation because they were depressed. And I'm not making fun of anybody that's going through depression, but at the same time, this individual had motivation to be on IG every day, posting things and going out places.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
I'm just saying, like, you found the motivation to do that. Why can't you have the motivation to get a job? Because Christy and I talked, and Christy was like, we all suffer from it from time to time, but she's like, I know plenty of people, that work, that are on medication for depression, and they have a job.
Yeah, like, and I mean, it's sad to say, with that, um, like at a previous job that I was at, like a lot of people, they confided that they were going through and they're struggling.
Right.
I'm not saying anybody's name. That doesn't need to be known, but
Right.
they were struggling. But here it is. They're here and they're working
Right.
for to make a living because they know they got bills to pay,
Right.
and they're not going to pay themselves by sitting in front of a camera in this make believe world or life that some of these people have created for themselves. That they're a content creator, or they're an influencer. Here it is though, but they're expecting their their subscribers or their supporters to pay for their lifestyle.
No.
That's absolutely bonkers, and that's not how that works.
No.
Mm-mm.
But it just amazes me, like, in this world that we live in this day and age, like I said, just seeing the post on Nextdoor
Mm-hmm.
and what we've witnessed on like other platforms, people still give. And I'm just like, and they don't really have it like that. So many people are
No.
struggling, but they're giving, because people, a lot of people on there are pretending. I hate to say, a lot of them are like, they are really in dire straits and stuff like
And
that,
they're not.
and they're not, and they don't want to get a job. And I get it. you know some people, like I said, a traditional 9 to 5 may not be for them, but it's like, it's a lot of gig jobs that you can take nowadays in this
Mm-hmm.
day and age, where you can set your own hours,
Yeah.
when you want to work and things like that, and you can get like multiple gig jobs. So
Yeah,
it's no
and I mean,
excuse.
and that's another thing too, because like they have like a thing, and I had never even known about that, like a medical courier,
Hmm.
where you're like delivering supplies and things, medical supplies, or maybe even like organs or whatever to a
Wow.
hospital. And from what I hear, they make pretty decent money,
Wow.
and it doesn't really take a bunch to become certified and to basically start up your business relatively quickly.
Wow.
So I mean, maybe a traditional 9 to 5 doesn't work for you. I get it,
Right.
and especially after the pandemic hit, like one thing I think everybody learned is just um, self care and spending time with family is
Right.
important, and just work life balance. But maybe you are an entrepreneur and you're not meant to work for nobody, and that's cool.
Right.
I totally respect it, but you cannot sit here and be unproductive and expect other people to fund your lifestyle, especially with these people out here that are just basically playing in our faces on the internet. They're in such dire straits, but
Right.
here it is. They're taking a whole vacation, and some people haven't taken a vacation in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
You know, but they're paying for this person to go on vacation, although that person wasn't completely honest as far as why or what they needed that money for.
Right.
They lied and said that they couldn't pay a bill or whatever. But here it is, a month or two or a week or two later, they're out in another state
Yeah.
living their best life. Hey.
And it's like, because Christy knows, a lot of like resources you can go to, like if you really are in need. And I was just looking, I was like, oh, I didn't know about that because I was thinking about maybe volunteering for with some of them. But the lady that was scamming on the next door app, like a lot of people was sending her like all these different resources that she could go to where like they, come out to you and things like that.
Because
But
that's not what she wanted. She wanted money.
right, and that's yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying though, like for people that really, really are on need, there are resources out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to go on the internet and beg people, and especially like I said, these scammers. Like it's ridiculous, guys. It's that's like the new hustle now. This digital panhandling.
It really is because I mean, you can go on there one day and be a person that has like 10 children to feed and you are about to be homeless. And then the next day you can feed a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And they probably was never even any 10 children that you had.
No, that's yeah. So it's just like my goodness, and like Chris was saying earlier, like with this content creation now, there's like videos popping up with people quitting their jobs left and right to go to that streamer university,
Mm.
and I'm just like, guys, like that's not very smart. Now,
Not in this economy.
not yes, not in this economy, and I'm not trying to like tear people's dreams down. Maybe they really want to be a streamer, content creator full time. That's cool, but it's like the reality is now you don't have a job and it may not even work out. I'm just saying, like it might not even work out, and it might take a while to get there to where you are able to live off of streaming comfortably. So it's just like, why not do that on the side?
Or, I mean, what if you have a medical emergency and now you don't have a
Health
job, so you
insurance.
don't have health insurance?
That's yes, that's something
So,
to
what are you going to do? Like, what if you, like, totally had something happen and you were completely incapacitated
right,
and you couldn't work, so you couldn't even do, like, the video streams?
right.
What are you going to do then?
It
People don't
absolutely
think, man.
people don't think people, and the thing is like these content creators, the ones that are real and honest, they'll tell you it's a lot of content creators that were doing this full time on different platforms that are going back to doing traditional jobs, traditional 9 to 5. They're like, hey, I gotta pay my bills. They're like, because this content creation ain't cutting. So they're being real. Like a lot of content creators, they're not making the money that they used to.
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of these, ambassadorship programs, um, the sponsors, they're not paying what they used to.
Right.
And on top of that, really, I mean, the whole thing of, streamers and things like that, like, unless you have a very, like, specific, like, niche type of content, it's become very saturated.
Right. It has.
It's like everybody can't be a streamer.
Exactly.
Realistically, everybody cannot be a streamer. Like, and I mean, people, get so dead set on that and upset if things do not go the way they want them to, or that their channel doesn't take off and grow like they feel like it should. Like, just create the content just for the sake of it and you find it fun.
Right.
But to basically gamble with, like, a livelihood, especially if you already have a pretty, great job and you're being, compensated pretty decently, I wouldn't jeopardize that
Exactly.
for something that's not guaranteed.
Yeah, and it's not to be like a negative Nancy. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's not very wise to do that. I would just do that on the side, keep my job,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get, even if it did pick up where you was making, a little more money, I still wouldn't get quit my day job. I'm serious.
No, that's stupid.
Right, it is. But yeah, that's I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add, but yeah, I just seeing that the video with the 92-year-old, I'm just like, wow, he working
Yeah.
full time, and you got some able-bodied people that refuse to get out here and work. That's wow.
Yeah, he's very inspiring. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I just, everybody, myself included, take a lesson from, somebody like that. So
Yep.
yeah.
But yeah, that's all we wanted to say. Um, we've talked. I'm gonna just close with close it with this. We done talked enough about like scammers, what to look out for. So if you come across posts like that, check out like some of our past videos about like scammers and things because we talk about the red flags, what to look out for, how not to fall for it. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that.
Just hold on to your coins.
Yes, because a lot of people, they're not honest, and if they're truly in need, they will go to resources and things like that. They would. But yeah. And until next time.